Hey, I want to go ahead and say before this podcast got started that I was playing around with new software and it added a weird audio echo. I apologize for that. Next time I'll probably just go ahead and make sure to do a secondary audio edit. So that way, if it does do an echo, I can replace it with something that doesn't have an echo. I don't know what created it, but it's there. Now, another thing I was asked about. My thoughts on the Monsterverse and Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, let's go ahead and start with 2014's Godzilla, the beginning of this universe. This is a fine movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I was not thoroughly, wow, actually, God. I forgot, years ago I did do a video on this movie. It's a fine movie. I enjoy it enough. I found it super, it's shot dark to make it cheaper so the effects don't quite have to be as good, which makes sense to me. However, they do this thing in this movie that drives me nuts. Every time you see this action movie between Godzilla versus one of the monsters, they have some sort of excuse to cut away, and they do it at least 2 or 3 times in the movie, and it's annoying. You want to do it once, okay, sure, but they do it over and over again. And that gets really annoying and really fucking obvious that they're being cheap on that one. That annoys me in that movie. That being said, is it what I would consider really a bad movie? Not really. It's fine. It's entertaining enough. And then the second movie in the series, Kong Skull Island. I was actually surprised by Kong Skull Island. I think I like the thing that in that movie that I loved was Samuel L. Jackson. He really did a great job in that movie. He goes after this whole kind of Captain Ahab thing on Kong. And it's really well done. Samuel L. Jackson is, of course, he's chewing scenery, but it's so awesome. He's just going insane trying to kill Kong. And I really like him in that movie. The other real standout in that movie is John C. Reilly. He's kind of doing the John C. Reilly thing. He's this old soldier that got abandoned on the island, and it really works well. Now, the disadvantage, the really letdown in that movie, are really your main heroes. You have Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson are your main hero and heroine, and what can I tell you about them? Tom Hiddleston plays pool, and Brie Larson is a photographer, and that's about it. There's not much to their characters, and they're really your leads in this movie. And that's really the downfall of that movie. Now, is it bad? No, I actually enjoy that movie significantly more than 2014's Godzilla. Simply for Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson's whole arc in that movie is so kind of over the top and kind of awesome that I enjoy the crap out of it. It's actually that aspect of that movie is so much better than it needed to be. And they said it during post-Vietnam, it's a really interesting aspect because what they did with the Samuel L. Jackson character is they introduced this idea that they're ending the war, and he's not happy about it because he's just looking for the next fight. So he goes to Skull Island, and Kong, the second Kong pops up, you can tell, he's mad that the soldiers die because when they first pop up, Kong's attacking because he's like, what the fuck you guys doing? And he's mad the soldiers died, but you also know he's thirsting for his next fight, and that's where his character's crazy. He's just looking for a fight. And that's kind of that movie. It works for me, even though it has huge issues in the hero department. Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, completely wasted in that movie. However, you can say that movie it has it has Loki. It has Captain Marvel. It has Nick Fury. It has Corman Day. So it's kind of an MCU movie, except Nick Fury's really crazy. But, Kong Skull Island, kind of underrated in my opinion. Now, I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe upon rewatch, I wouldn't think as much of it. But I just remember enjoying it. I think the strengths outweigh the negatives in that movie. So, when I say movie's not as good as Kong Skull Island, which I will say here eventually, it's not a huge negative on my part. It's to me that's just a way of saying it's not amazing. Like, and I won't even say Kong Skull Island's amazing. I just think it's severely underrated. I think it's a thoroughly enjoyable movie for what it is. Now what's the next one? Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's another one that I think is underrated. You could tell in that movie that they were responding to the negative criticism of Godzilla's 2014 that I largely just gave you, that there's not enough of the monster fights. It sets up monster fights and then it doesn't give them to you. And then King of the Monster gives you lots of monster fights. And for the people complaining, oh, it does too much monster fights, I'm sorry, this is a Godzilla movie. That's kind of what the show's about. So, I enjoyed that one. I didn't think the humans were even downplayed. I thought they gave the humans plenty to do. I thought they gave the monsters plenty to do, and I enjoyed it. I personally thought it was a solid balance between the two aspects. Yeah, that brings us to the main one. I point in the wrong direction again. The main one, Godzilla vs. Kong. This is the new one. It came out a couple months ago. I saw it on HBO Max. HBO Max can send me a check whenever. But anyways, I think this one is fine. I think this one is, I think Godzilla 2014 is probably the worst in this franchise so far. And then probably Skull Island and Godzilla King of the Monsters are both good. They're both pretty good, underrated. Not great, but underrated. And I think Godzilla vs. Kong kind of ends up somewhere in the middle. I think they do lots of weird stuff in this one. Like they reveal a center of the Earth hidden area where the monsters live, which is really weird. And Kong's kind of set to be the hero, and Godzilla's going insane and attacking cities, and we don't know why. And of course, it's revealed because this businessman is making Mecha Godzilla. So the whole story just ends up being Godzilla and Kong fight. Mostly, Godzilla kicks Kong's butt. Then at the end, Kong kind of gets a win. Wait, how's it go? No, I think the first fight, Godzilla wins, and then there's one where Kong wins. And in the final fight, Godzilla kind of kicks the living crap out of Kong. And then Mechagodzilla comes up and kicks the crap out of Godzilla. And then they bring Kong back. And he wins against Mechagodzilla. For me, this one, the monster fights are pretty good. But this one, this is actually one where I'd argue the human stories are way too weak. That was the argument for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and that one's kind of worked for me, but it doesn't really work as well here. This one doesn't have a good balance. It's mainly, I'm interested in Kong, but that's about it. I don't really care about the human characters, really, in this movie at all. Godzilla vs. Kong for me was just fine. It was a movie that was there. A little bit better than 2014's Godzilla. But it's not great. Overall, I would say I'm enjoying this, giant Monsterverse where we have these monsters fighting each other. I'm not really sure where they go to it after Godzilla vs. Kong, because what two big headliners do we have bigger than that? That being said, I think it's fine. I think we have two underrated movies and two meh movies. One a bit more meh than the other. Ranking them, how would I rank them? The worst is 2014's Godzilla. Second worst would be Godzilla vs. Kong. Probably second best, I'm leaning towards Kong Skull Island, and just a little bit better than that is Godzilla King of the Monsters. Like I said, overall I'm enjoying this franchise, but it's not, especially this last one, it's not great. There's lots of flaws. Every movie has tons of holes you can poke into. If you take it as it is, you'll have fun with these movies, but it's nothing mind blowing. It is what it is. I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job. I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.